some engineers. You're talking about Harold Taylor.
Well,
He wasn't the only one, but there were other engineers. Jimison, I don't know if he was before your time.
Frank the Galley,
Frank the Galley.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about those guys. Where did they get their work done? Who did the work for them?
Frank did. He built the LGS in his
himself,
garage.
right? Yeah, and the painting was done at Underhills,
Yeah.
and they weighed the paint. I know that if before they put it on, they weighed it.
Like the Mercedes, scrape the paint off to keep the weight down.
Yeah. They weighed the paint, and all the pedals were all drilled and all in aluminium. But the best person to speak to on this would be, I should think, young Le Galley. He spoke to me about 10 years ago about trying to find the car in Kenya. I never really put myself out to find the car, and I should have done. The LGS.
Was that his car or his dad's car?
Well, it was Frank's car.
It went to South Africa, didn't it? Yes.
Well, I heard it went to Kenya.
Yeah, Africa, yeah.
But I heard that Frank shipped it out. He shipped it out and he put some chocks, to save the shock absorbers, he put some chocks under the chassis, so that it sort of went over and it didn't compress the shock absorbers and the springs. Whoever bought it picked it up, collected it, and thought, I'll drive this home. And they drove it down the road, thrashed it, but they didn't take the chocks out. And they sort of like, we were doing, don't know how fast they were going, but just imagine doing 100 mile an hour, trying to get round a bend, hit a bump, and they wrote it off.
Oh, no.
Killed himself.
Killed himself.
I think that's what I heard.
But Frank...
And maybe that's just one of the stories that sort of grows and grows and grows, I don't know, but...
Was it one car? Because you see the pictures of it, it changes a bit, but it was a beautifully made... One car.
That's one
Well,
car.
it
That's
depends.
the Galley.
LGS.
Yeah.
LGS.
Because,
The Galley special.
Yeah.
LGS.
See,
because if you work it out, Frank did have... there's like a 2 or 3 of...
Well, that's his old car. One of those, Len Asplund had an armchair.
Yeah,
Do you
an
remember
armchair,
that?
yeah.
He had an armchair.
He sat in an armchair.
Oh, was that
V8.
Yeah.
I've got pictures of it.
I tell you where his garage was. He had a garage, and you know where you go from Springfield, and you come from Springfield. There's a short stretch of road to St Saviour's Road. One goes up St Saviour's Hill, and one goes the other way, and that's where Len's workshop was.
That's Springfield Present.
I don't know what that little
Springfield
stretch of road.
Present,
It was where LaCoy Hotel was.
Where? Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And he built himself a racing car. This is...
Oh yeah, with a big armchair.
Was he very successful?
So are you
Oh,
saying,
yes.
are you saying that number 13 there is Len Asplund? Because
Well, I can't really tell by that.
no, because it's got the armchair.
Well, and I think Frank Galley had a very big, comfortable chair in there, if I remember. And he used to race a car. Him and John Bennett were great pals from Underhill.
This is the one, that's the armchair.
That's what I was saying. That's the spotted armchair thing.
That's the one, the armchair, number 3.
Number 3.
And that's for beach racing, is it?
That's
That?
Len, yeah.
I think.
That's Len.
He was very, very flying.
So that's
officer.
Asplund.
Yeah.
He was a fighter pilot, I think.
Because it's
Yeah,
got,
a very flying officer kite sort of
Yeah,
chap.
yeah.
wasn't he?
but it's got. The 3 is very sort of bold there, but it's got the 1 beside it,
Yeah.
making it 13, which
Yeah.
is John Bennett's number.
Well, it could be John Bennett because he looks a bit like John Bennett there. Len Asplund had got a big tash.
Yeah, I don't know if Len Asplund had number 3, but this is an armchair, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think
Well,
Frank Galley
that's
had
the
an
point.
armchair too.
If Len Asplund...
They both had
hold
armchairs.
on though.
Yeah.
Because Frank Le Galley's got number 3.
There's the armchair, look.
Yeah.
If Frank Le Galley was number 3, and he was sharing, because he used to share a lot with...
Frank was number 1.
John Bennett.
Frank was always number 1, I was number 2.
Oh.
That doesn't look like Frank.
Oh,
I know.
Frank was very much a.
Oh, this Frank, yes.
That's out of his,
Frank, yeah.
that's out of his scrapbook.
Yeah, that's
Because
Frank.
I went down to Peter's to get some information on Frank, and I borrowed his scrapbook
This is not the LGS though, is it?
No, the LGS
No,
was...
Oh, it was a very beautiful
Yeah,
car.
yeah.
Oh, look, Alec Isagamis, I'm sure, was involved in that.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. John Bennett, Alec Isagamis were all pally. If you remember, Reg Varney were the agents for Austin at one time.
Morris.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, for Nuffield there or whatever it was at that particular time. Austin it was, I think. They
His
were.
brother-in-law, what's his brother-in-law's name? He raced a Jaguar.
Sorry, but let me. Reg Varney, John Bennett raced the Austin Atlantic for about a fortnight till it either broke down or did so many thousands of miles. That was the Austin Atlantic. Do you remember? They were very fancy Austin.
That's beautiful car.
Yeah, yeah. And well, I mean, whether it was successful or not, I don't know. You know, it wasn't my time.
This one here, is that Len True?
I would say, yeah.
And is it?
Looks like I mean.
Is that no
Is it that
that's
car?
bigger.
You know, you were saying that the Wiley special. Is that?
I don't know if Norm was, because when Norm was one of our closest friends. I don't know what Norm has got in photographs.
Norma.
Is she still alive?
Norma True is
Oh,
probably,
right.
yeah.
It's they live around Green
I
Island.
was with them the
somewhere.
other day.
Oh, Len used to walk around.
They live up the hole.
Is that where they?
When you go up the hole, you turn to go to La Place, the big house on the left. The son bought it. And of course, she lived around the corner from us, which was ideal because they used to walk to us and we used to walk to them. Yeah.
By the way, somebody said you lived down at Great Gazette, where W Reynolds, Green Gables.
Three
Gables.
Three Gables. That was a huge house, 15 rooms.
It's where I live.
Yeah.
You know that? Well, I live in the Coin d'Azur, which Three Gables now was where Len Matcham. Was it Len Matcham lived? He turned it into flats.
That was what's name? Hilda Hall bought it.
No, that's Hilo.
Yes,
Hilda
but
Hall.
She bought a plot of land from Trevor, what's his name? Trevor
Matthews.
Next door.
That's Pevels.
And that was Hilo, at the back of that part. Then she bought ours, and we had the tennis court, and she sold the other part, which was the two big flats. There's a huge area. And she kept the tennis court, and she built another house after Owen died. After Owen died, they sold Hilo.
Well, see, I remember Mrs. Hall before she was Mrs. Kirshner.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember her then.
Well, no, I only remember her when she had the Normandy.
Yeah, well, she had the Normandy, but Kirshner, Rudy Kirshner, was the man who brought all the food in during the occupation. Do you remember Dick Gilmore?
Gilmore, yes, Dick Gilmore.
Yeah.
He did the what was the base boat special, which was flexible. Do you remember the base boat? It was a Ford engine base boat. It looked like a banana.
What was that for? For racing?
No, I didn't know Dick, but Dick it was quite funny when we started talking about these things.
There must be a photograph of that base boat.
Oh yeah.
Dick was and Silver LaRiche. Silver LaRiche was the captain of a ship that used to fly backwards and forwards between St. Malo and Jersey with the food. And Rudy Kirshner was buying the food for the island during the war. And the German commandant was on the bridge with Silver LaRiche. And the commandant looks at Silver and he says, "You're a very young man to be captain of a ship," because he would have been very young at that time. This size, you know?
He was a pilot.
Yeah, but...
Can I interrupt you, gentlemen, because this is a bit of a diversion, but strangely enough, I don't know if you were here during the occupation.
Yeah.
The Spinel, do you remember the Spinel that used to go backwards and forwards supplying between the islands and somehow. Do you remember?
Well, this could have been the ship that we're talking
Do you remember?
about.
Do you know anything about Captain Bennett, Bill Bennett, who commanded briefly the Spinel during that period?
No.
He died on it, unfortunately, but you don't know.
No.
Doesn't mean anything to you. Okay.
No, but
This is diversion.
what Silver Larish happened, and the commandant says,
I sneeze. No, because it's bugging me.
Yes.
I can remember the
This
front
wide.
end and the Dunlines. You know, I can
not,
remember that
that's
car.
not the Austin 7, that's
No, that's not enough.
No, that's much
But
bigger.
reading through this, which is a torn passe, because I mean there's different articles, but they've used the same picture. That one, I mean, I think Elaine's somebody's put Lentrue on that. That's that one there. But reading through this article, it's just like sort of relating to a sprint in December '46, and it's got Lentrue with the Wiley Special. Now, is this the Wiley Special?
Yeah, it was a very heavy chassis.
Right.
Well, I mean,
got big
looking at
chassis.
those Dunlines
But
on
it's
there,
just
that's
looking
heavy.
at that, because this is George Wiley. Now, looking at that bodywork there.
Well, that would have been made by my dad.
Ah, right. That looks similar to what that is there.
Hmm.
It's just, she's inquiring, and I think...
How long
that-
ago is this?
Yeah, that is, because if you look at it in front, look up, and then look at this, look, it's got the, what's the
Cowling.
cowling.
This is 1939. That is the last race.
Because they evacuated straight before the war.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Well,
they got-
that explains it.
Yeah, they explained that. And the car would have been left here, and, you know.
So Lentrue acquired the car, by hook or by crook.
Funny thing, on the advance into Belgium, I saw this flying standard, and I stopped, walked back to it, scrapped the paint off, and it was my brother's car.
Was it?
It's
Never. Where was it? Where did you find it? Where did you see it?
It was on the advance into Belgium when we broke from the RDMs.
Extraordinary.
Not the RDMs,
But you weren't in the services then, were you?
so I was
Did you
the army
escape?
during the war. I escaped.
You escaped.
I
Who
got
did
away.
you go with?
I got away.
Yeah, but who was?
My mother, I went over with my mother.
Oh, before the war started.
No, this was 1940. June 1940. Just before the Germans cut.
Oh, yeah, you were evacuated.
You know,
Well,
don't you-
Margaret was evacuated, and she got evacuated. The family got all split up, and she was in Yorkshire, and
we went to London,
you
and
went,
it was my decision that we didn't sleep in the flat that night.
It got bombed, I suppose.
It's been blown apart.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
We had to do a film about your lucky escape because you've had about a dozen, haven't you? I think they were with shells that didn't go off, bombs that didn't go off,
It's Billy Reynolds.
Bugattis that didn't finish you off.
It's Bill Reynolds, the cat.
It's
Got
amazing.
9
I
lives.
tell you what, it's a book
I
in
could have written
itself.
a book about it, 9 Lives Plus.
It is. It's
Because I actually
fascinating.
drowned it when I was about 7-year-old.
It's amazing, you know.
This was George Wiley.
In,
I mean, that's in
it was
there.
by Paul.
Oxenden.
I was pulled out by him.
Oh,
was that Major Oxenden?
Oxenden is the one with the wreath round his.
Oxford
Yeah.
was the one who was going to build the Taylor Special. The Taylor Special was his little baby.
Because
He died.
Somebody did say that.
He died.
Well, he had the holiday camp at Portland.
We used to go there all
Up
the
the
time.
hill
and
there.
stuff, yeah.
Well, there was a hill climb.
I can remember driving back from there one night. And
was there ever a hill climb up that hill down to the?
Yeah.
Was there really? Because it's an ideal little hill if you don't mind, if you've got strong nerves, isn't it?
Oh, I tell
Hey.
you what, you need a damn good gearbox to go up
Yeah.
there.
Right, so just getting back to this query, presumably then, if they left before the occupation, that would have been so it's a waste of time me looking in the 40s for anything about George Wiley, because presumably he only competed, well, looks like from me, because I haven't got any programmes, or, well, very few, of the 30s. We're a bit sparse on information on that. But I can only find the one reference to him is that the last race, the 1939 50 Lapper.
That's your recollection, isn't it, Trevor? That he was active before the war, but not active after the war. George
No,
Riley?
it didn't come back to
They
the
didn't come
island.
back.
No, it didn't come back to.
I mean,
I
was
don't think he came back.
Was
I
he
wouldn't
very
know.
active before that? Because
Yeah, but he was trying to. Well, I mean, they built this very, very heavy car. When I look at the, well, I mean, I used to build for the VW engine chassis in 1-inch square tubing. You know, sort of a lattice work of, and it was a thing that was in Rhodesia at the time, and I must have made about 20 of these. It was like a class, and it was 1-inch steel tubing, and all silver soldered, tougher silver soldered, brazing of all the joints. You know.
I mean, I built my race car and the saloon out of inch
1-inch square.
tubing, but not the sort of 1/8 of an inch thick. I mean,
Oh no, this is 16 gauge, which would be 16 gauge would be just under
the stuff
2
that I
mil.
used is the stuff they make. little
But the
things
bits
out.
the bits of chassis you still got hanging in your wardrobe somewhere, they relate to that car,
To this car, yeah.
to that same car.
Yeah.
And so why is there bits of chassis that you've got? Where's
And
the
this
rest?
chassis is the pictures.
Pictures.
Yeah,
Just
not-
pictures, not bits of chassis. Right.
No, no,
Alan-
I'm looking at the
Alan
dam
Brock,
irons and the.
That's right.
He's got the chassis of the Taylor Special.
Right.
Pete
Have you,
LeJohn.
have you been to Alan Brock's?
Is he recording this? I better not say anything. I'm not saying anything on film.
We'll come back
We'll
to
talk
that.
about it afterwards.
I said to him, can I come and have a look at it? And he didn't take me, he said, oh, it's out St John somewhere.
I thought the Taylor Special was crushed.